Stop everything you're working on. There is only one thing you need to be thinking about for your marketing strategy. This one thing that is going to create the most amount of profits, bring in the most amount of revenue at the best cost efficiency. And the problem we see time and time again at our agency is that people don't know what this one thing is. And that is what we focus on, and that is what we're going to do today. So if you watched my last video, we took a look at how to basically uncover the black box that is marketing at times in order to really understand where to put our focus and time and energy. This is something we do for marketing teams in my agency all the time, where we take a look at where all of their numbers at, all of their data are. It's a multi-level assessment that we put together, all in the effort of finding one bottleneck or one constraint, one thing that we can maximize and optimize to move the needle the furthest. So what I have here today is an illustration, a very, very simplified marketing funnel to help us understand how we go about finding this constraint or this bottleneck and what we do about it. The people that run the best marketing teams and the best marketing campaigns understand where to put their time, energy, and resources, because you don't have limitless amounts of any of those. So what we're going to do today is take a simplified walkthrough of an example of how we would go about picking where to focus our time, energy, and resources to create the greatest amount of revenue for our company. So what I have here is a very simple 4-step marketing funnel to illustrate how we're going to find our constraint. The first step of this marketing funnel is meta ads. And for the sake of this illustration, we're getting our meta ads running at about 50 cents per click. Those meta ads run to a book a call page. Of the traffic that hits that book a call page, we're getting about 5% of them to book a call. Then it's time for them to show up for the call. And about 10% of the people who booked a call show up for the call. Then you have a call with your sales rep or you as a business owner. And of those 10% that showed up for their call, 10% make a purchase. For the sake of this illustration, we're going to say that our ticket is about $600 for whatever this program or course or product is. So let's put some actual numbers to each of these steps so we can start to see how we can move the numbers. Starting with 1,000 clicks. We spent $500 at 50 cents per click to get 1,000 clicks on our meta ad. Of those 1,000 people that clicked over to the book a call page, we have 50 booked calls. Of those 50 booked calls, we have about 5 people show up for their call. And of those 5 that showed up, we have 1 make a purchase for a total of $600, which makes the profit, as the funnel is running right now in our theoretical example, $100. Now, I gotta give a couple of caveats here because it's never this simple. There's always lost traffic between how many people click and how many actually view a landing page when you're running any kind of ad campaign. So that's absolutely something we consider and factor in when we're doing these calculations for our client. Second, we're using very small, very simplified numbers here just to create a point. Typically at our agency, we're running with campaigns that are anywhere from between $100 to $1,000 a day on Meta. So these numbers are simplified. Volume does change how some of these percentages turn out and how they end up looking. But again, this is for illustrative purposes only. And if you are at the point in your business where you are running with a $500 budget, this should help you get an idea of what you're looking at. So just looking at this funnel as it is, there's many different steps that we can improve. And eventually you would like to improve all of them. With a funnel this simple, it would be very easy to go through each piece and just make all of them better. But the point of the illustration today is to figure out how we find our constraint. So typically what we see when we have funnels like this is clients come to us saying we need better ads. We need our ads to perform better. We need more volume. We need to get more people running through this pipeline. A lot of times they're saying this too because they haven't worked out the measurements for all of these steps and have that data together. And so that's always something we work on first. But let's take a look at what happens if we actually focus on the meta ads. Let's use our magic doubler wand. We're going to take the same funnel and we're going to double just the meta ads, not in volume, but in efficiency. So now instead of 50 cents a click, we're getting 25 cents per click. So we'll still get 1,000 clicks, but we'll now be spending $250 for those clicks. Of those 1,000, 50 will book a call, that remains the same, 5 will show up, that remains the same, and 1 will purchase, that remains the same. But our new profit is now $350 because instead of the $500, we only spent $250 on our initial ad clicks. Now, most people go straight to this, take a look at the adjusted profits and say, this is great, this is what we gotta do. But why don't we take our magic doubling wand, take the same funnel again, but But let's double the second step. What if we worked on how many people actually book a call when they hit the landing page? So we're generating the same amount of clicks for $500. Instead of 50 booked calls, we're getting 100 booked calls, which means instead of 5 people showing up, we have 10 people showing up, which means instead of one purchase at $600, we now have 2 purchases at $1,200, making our profit, if we doubled our booked calls, $700. So already off the bat, we can see that maybe focusing just on the ads at the very top of the funnel is not actually the place we should be putting our time and energy, because we can actually generate more profit if we focus on a different segment of the funnel. Again, this is with the understanding that you have limited time and resources, and you always need to decide what to work on first. Should you work on the meta ads as well? Yes, of course. But is that where you should put all your attention first? Maybe not. Let's take a look, just for the sake of this illustration, at what happens if we take our magic doubling wand and we double our show rate. So we move our show rate from 10% to 20%. We are still going to have the 1,000 clicks. We are going to have 50 booked calls. Now, instead of 5 people showing up, 10 are going to show up. So instead of one purchase, we have 2 purchases at $1,200, meaning the profit, if we just focus on our show rate, is $700. And there's a lot of ways you can focus on show rate. There's a lot of strategies on how you nurture people between the point where they book a call to where they should actually show up for a call. That can really increase how many people show up for that moment, show up for that call. So we'll take a look at that later. Let's just, again, for the sake of understanding all of the numbers, take our magic doubling wand and double just the last portion. So we want to double, instead of 20% purchasing, a 40% purchase rate from the call. Now, this is looking a little bit more at sales and how your sales process runs, but for the sake of this illustration, let's double that. And what you'll see is all of the numbers remain the same, but we'll again have 2 purchases at $1,200, making the profit $700. So what we have here is, rather than focusing on the meta ads, which is where a lot of people go to first, we actually have 3 different places within our funnel that make the most sense. So when you lay out the profit increase potential for doubling all 4 of these steps, you can clearly see that our book a call page, our show rate, and our purchase rate are going to be the places that we should be focusing on first. Now, if you have something like this, and again, just to say one more time, it's never this black and white. We usually have multiple funnel and entry points coming in at one time. That's why when we actually do this assessment for our clients, it's many pages long with lots and lots of data. But let's say we do get something like this where we have actually multiple places we could focus on to generate the most increase in profit. How do we then decide where to go first? So the thing to think about is that anything you do has costs. So we have our book a call page, our show up for a call, and our make a purchase as our focus points. Then what we want to do is take a look at how much each of those are going to cost to actually change, because nothing comes for free. So if we're going to improve our booking a call, meaning our conversion rate on our website, how many people are booking once they hit the page, we're going to maybe need to pay a designer to redesign and re-optimize the website. We're going to maybe need to pay a developer to actually go ahead and make the website changes. And you're going to need to factor in time. It is the truth of all business and all marketing that time is money. So you absolutely want to consider how long something is going to take to change when you're deciding where it makes the most sense to focus. So sometimes if things cost more money, but they save us 2, 3, 4 weeks for our clients, that's the option we'll choose. Because time is always money. You're paying people, you're losing out on potential revenue. You do want to move the needle as quickly as possible. Let's say we're going to work on our show rate. For there, you're going to have to factor in email automations, SMS automations, and again, time. There's a lot of different ways in terms of the personalization of how we nurture people between their booking a call and showing up for a call that really helps show rate. A lot of people tend to make it very sterile and informative, saying, just a reminder, you have a call in an hour with so-and-so, and people don't really feel obligated to show up for that. And so we've seen a lot of strategies work where you really make that personal, even to the point of recording a video saying, hey, so-and-so, I'm so excited to talk to you tomorrow. Please let me know if you have any questions. I looked at your website, really excited to chat. That alone, that personal touch, making someone feel like, wow, there is an actual person waiting for me on the other side of this call, will increase your show rates. And so we can create a whole video on that, but it is absolutely something that gets overlooked, but should absolutely be worked on and strategized, just like everything else in your marketing funnels. Lastly, if we want to work on our purchasing rate, right, that's going to be some sales training, maybe the offer deck that you're sending marketing after? And again, how much time is it going to take to get our close rate up to where we want it to be? So when we do these exercises with our clients, we really take a deep dive into all of this. We estimate timelines, we estimate budgets, we take a look at payroll costs, outsourced costs, everything that is going to be considered a cost to make this change in your marketing funnel. From there, our strategy actually becomes very simple. We want to look at what has the highest profit potential if we change it, what has the least amount of monetary costs, and what is going to take the least amount of time, because again, time is money. And whatever hits all three of these criteria the best is going to equal your marketing focus. And that is where all of your time, all of your energy, all of your attention should go first. The biggest killer of marketing funnels is people trying to do too much at one time, trying to spread money too thin across too many places when they have not maxed out the potential of what they already have in place. So this is a very high level overview example, but it is the exact thought process that we take our clients through, because focused marketing is always going to be the most successful marketing. Our biggest goal is to find out where you can put your time, energy, and resources to yield the greatest amount of benefit for your company. I promise if you take a look at everything you're doing right now and everywhere you're putting your money, find your biggest constraint and full send in that direction. Put all of your time, money, and resources into doubling that one metric. I promise you, you will see more revenue and you will see your profits grow.